Hello and welcome to the Little Drops of Wonderful channel, where I talk about all of the wonderful things like crochet and knitting and crafting and all of that lovely stuff that I like to get up to. My name is Ali and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Starry Eyes Ali. And also over on my other channel, which is This Little Wonderful Life, which is daily life vlogs all about life here in the UK, of course crafting because it's such a huge part of my life, and lots of books and reading and audiobooks at the moment as well. So if you like that kind of vloggy nose into everyday life, make sure you head over there. And you can also find me in Kent, which is where I live, in the very southeast of the UK, with my husband and my two daughters, none of whom are here right now. It's 9:30 on Sunday morning and I'm on my own in the house. So I've grabbed this opportunity to film the podcast. My husband and my youngest daughter are at football. He coaches, she plays, and my eldest was on a sleepover at a friend's house last night, so she'll still be fast asleep over there. And what else to say? Oh, I'm wearing this. I haven't worn this in a long time actually, but I love it. This is the Easy Lace Panel Top. It's handmade by Cumby. Just stand up. I've got a vest on underneath because obviously crochet is quite revealing. It's a crochet top and it's got this lovely kind of lace panel, hence the name. And I made it, it's an hour and weight project, crochet, £6.75 on Ravelry. I was part of the test knitting a couple of years ago, and I made it with Drops Bummel Lin, which is a 53% cotton, 47% linen. Really drapey and kind of quite heavy. It's really lovely. But I don't wear it often because I always worry that the frills make me look a bit like, I don't know, a bit too wide in the shoulders, but it looks all right on the screen. It's perfect for this kind of day, and it's not too cold in the house, but you know, it's not the height of summer. Let's try the tea again. Just before I started filming, this was too hot. It's just right now. That's annoying, isn't it? I'm gonna have to keep cutting out me slurping my tea. So thank you so much for all your comments on my last few videos. Thank you particularly for your positive reaction to my visit to the Waltham Abbey wool show. It was so fun. It was such a good day. I love filming wool shows, and it seems that you really enjoy visiting them with me as well. So I'm definitely going to do more of that. In fact, I'm going to go, I think, to the East Anglia Yarn Festival, which is the day before the UK Mother's Day. Well, it's that whole weekend, the Mother's Day weekend, the UK Mother's Day in March. But I'm going to go on the Saturday, the day before. And Dan, my husband, is going to come with me. He's really excited. He's seen me obviously go off to yarn shows. He's seen the videos I make, but he's never been to one. So he's going to come with me. It's about a 2-hour drive from where we live here in Kent. It's up in Norfolk. Which is actually where Dan is from. So it was a bit much for me to do that drive sort of there and back in one day. So we decided if we both went, we could share the driving, and he's quite fascinated to see what it's all like. So yeah, we're probably going to go along to there, and I shall try and film it. So thank you for that, and all your comments and advice on my previous podcast, which I shall mention as we go through. And also, I want to say thank you for your reaction on my last video. But in all honesty, I don't know what your reaction is because I haven't published it yet. I'm filming this on Sunday morning and the video in question is due to go up tonight or this afternoon. So I have no idea what you're going to think of it. So I hope, of course, I'm talking about the video I released last week, which is Project Christmas Jumper 2023. It's a slow knitting project throughout the year. And I really hope that you like the idea and that some of you might be joining in. And yeah, if you want to know about that, it's the previous video to this one on this channel, and I will link it in the show notes in the description box underneath. All of the things I talk about, including timestamps for each section, is all in the description box underneath this video. So as usual, I have got loads of knitty, crochet, craftual goodness to catch you up on. But before I get stuck in, I just want to say something really important, and that is that I have had scammers back on my channel, and I want to warn you about it and say that What they do is they take my profile picture, they set up another channel with a similar name, but not the same. So it'll say something like Drops of Wonderful, or prize, or 1,000 subscribers at, or whatever, Drops of Wonderful. And it will look a little bit like me if you're sort of just going through it really quickly. But if you look closely, it really isn't. And if you click on them and it will take you to whatever channel they've set up, and you'll see there's no content. There certainly isn't any of my content, and if there is, they've stolen it. And it's a complete scam, and they will comment on your comments and tell you you've won a prize and that you need to transfer money in order to pay for the postage. I will never tell you you've won a prize in the comments. I will always announce prizes here on the video. I might contact you via Ravelry or Instagram if I haven't heard from you, but I will always say, just a heads up, go and watch episode 97 or whatever to see that you've won a prize. But I will never ask you for money or to transfer me money for postage. That is all covered by the earnings I make from this channel. So please, 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 if you get asked for money or anything like that by anyone on YouTube, on any channel, please research it thoroughly before you do anything, because it is a scam. I've reported the channels involved and all of the comments, and they do appear to have gone away for now, but I just really wanted to make sure I was really clear on that. I will never ask you for money. Oh, had to have a slurp of tea to get over that. It's so annoying when it's just that people trying to take advantage, and there are easier ways to make money, aren't there? I mean, go and do something more fulfilling. Right, let's get stuck in, shall we? Let's start with finished objects. I have only one, well, actually I've got two finished objects. Well, I'll start and you'll see what I mean. My first finished object you might have seen on Instagram, because I broke my Instagram hiatus to post it because I was so pleased with myself. I finished my colourwork lobster hat. It is the Lobster on the Rocks hat by Donna Frost Ritchie, who is Mrs. Anita Designs. And this is about my fourth attempt to make it because I had all kinds of problem with sizing and gauge, but it is now finished and it is now blocked. So I now have my lobster hat, or as Mary from BBC Ghosts would say, this is a bit awkward at the moment because my fringe needs trimming. Let's tuck my fringe away. So as Mary would say in the BBC Ghosts, it is a simple lobster hat. I love Mary so much. I'm wearing a seashell dress and a simple lobster hat. 4 potatoes high. I'm going off on a Mary tangent. So this is my lobster hat. It is colour work. I've put it on so it's going to be hard to look at what I'm showing you and show you at the same time. But here it is. It's fabulous. I love it. I was really worried it was going to be too long here. And as you can see, there is room here, but not in a comical way. You know, it doesn't, you know, I don't think it looks bad. And I can, if I want to, wear it a bit further back on my head. Because I have a fringe, I do like to wear hats. Oh God, getting in a mess here. I do like to wear hats a bit further back like that, and I can kind of droop it a bit at the back. I'm going to take it off so I can show you better. Good grief. I was particularly pleased because one of the things I was worried about was that I wouldn't be able to do this seaweed crown, which I really love. It's so pretty. And I was worried I would have to sort of go back and take that out in order to keep the hat a bit shorter, but actually it's not gonna, the length of it I'm gonna wear for sure. So I'm really, really pleased that I was able to do that and leave it in. I'm so pleased with myself, I can't even tell you. Someone said on Instagram, I hope that the stripes were self-striping yarn so you didn't have to keep changing colours. It's not self-striping yarn, I did change all the colours. I did that. I'm so excited. So I think the done thing is to show you my floats. I don't know how floats are supposed to look. They look quite neat to me. There you go, that's it. And of course, the great thing about a colourwork hat is that it's doubly warm because you've got all of those floats. And I've left the ends, so the pattern says you weave it in a bit and then you knot the ends together. and then I blocked it, so I'm just going to trim the end slightly. And then the idea is, because of the yarn, it's, you know, pure wool, they'll felt with wear. They'll felt into the hat with wear, which is good, isn't it? So yeah, that is it. Anything else to say? I used 2mm needles in the end to make this, to get gauge, and I think the pattern calls for size 2 needles. I don't know what size 2 is. Bigger than 2mm, I think. And I thought I'd written down how much yarn I had left. Oh, I have. I've written it on the actual yarn. So here are it's Jagger Spun Mainline Wool. It came as part of a kit, which was a gift. So I was given the pattern, I should say, as a gift. And then I was given the kit as a gift as well. So I was very, very spoiled and lucky indeed. So I've got 9 grams left of the basil. I've got 7 grams left of the garnet. And the slate heather, I've got 8 grams left. So I've got about sort of 25 grams left of that yarn. So don't know what that's enough for. I'll work it out. But I have a fabulous hat that I can wear. A simple lobster hat. So I've now made 3 colourwork hats, because I've made 2 of the, what was it called, that hat? Oh, I can't remember, but it was by, oh, my mind is a blanket. That's a line from Clarice Bean. My mind has gone completely blank. It was a beautiful hat. I made 2 versions of it, because the first version I didn't like, so I made a second version which I did like. And I've made a pair of colourwork Halloween mittens, and that's the sum total of my colourwork experience. And now I'm making a jumper. An all over colourwork jumper. Nothing like throwing yourself in at the deep end. Okay, so my next finished object is kind of half finished object, half still work in progress, because it is a tale of 2 socks. They are living in my Pictures in Threads bag. Lovely Michelle at Pictures in Threads. It's got ice skating sheep. I love this fabric, it's so cute, and I love this little bag, it's such a cute little size. And she even did me a matching DPN holder for my double pointed needles. And these are a pair, but not a pair, of DK weight socks. Now I used, where's the ball band? This yarn that was a gift from Nadia. It is Moomin yarn from Novita, and it's the Moomin Cowl colourway. So that's the inspiration there, that yellow, green and blue. There's Moomin Cowl with his rucksack, and it's DK weight self-striping sock yarn. I used 3mm needles for these, and I finished the first sock and I didn't like the fit of it. So, do you know, I'm going to need a sock blocker, aren't I? Hang on a second. Okay, I've got the sock blockers. So this is sock number 1. Just take off this little stitch marker. I really love the yarn. I love the Moominness of them. So for sock number 1, it was a bit of an experiment really. I can't remember, I cast on 48 stitches and I used 3mm needles. I can't remember what cast on I used. I think I did a German twisted cast on. And then I used, so I did a 1x1 twisted rib. So I did a German twisted cast on, I think, but can't quite remember. I did a 1x1 twisted rib, and then I knit until I was about happy with the length of the leg. I then did a shadow wrap heel, which I've been learning to do from Denise at Earth Tones Girl, her tutorials, which are brilliant. So I did that again, and I was really pleased with how I did that. And then I kept going, and I wasn't worried about doing contrast heels or anything like that. I was actually quite intrigued to see how the yarn would behave, and I quite like that little sort of blip there that goes around. So, and then I kept going, and then I did the toe from the Crazy Sock Lady DK Vanilla Socks pattern. So it's kind of like a wedge toe. There we go. So there's the wedge toe. and there's the shadow wrap heel. But I wasn't happy with the shadow wrap heel. It just feels a bit, can you see? Just a bit baggy for my foot. And when I put it on, I wasn't happy with the fit. It didn't feel comfortable. Oh, sorry, I was a bit high up there, cutting the top of my head off. It didn't feel comfortable and I wasn't pleased with it. Now I had the advantage here of the fact that these DK socks, so it did feel like I'd made this in a nanosecond. So when I cast on the second sock, I thought I'm going to do everything a bit differently, and then whichever sock I prefer, I will keep, and the other sock I will rip back and I'll start again to match the preferred sock. So here is my preferred sock. The cast on for this one is the Estonian cast on, which I tend to gravitate towards because it's just fun to do. And it's pretty as well. It's quite a pretty cast on. I like it. So again, I did a 1x1 rib, knit until I was happy enough with the length of the leg. And then I did the heel from the Crazy Sock Lady DK Vanilla Socks. So it's basically just a heel flap and gusset made for 48 stitches for a DK sock. And again, I just wanted to see how the yarn behaved. And again, I was quite happy with the little blip here. I don't mind that at all. Did my gusset decreases and the foot, and then I reverted to my favourite toe, which is the umbrella toe by Kay Janes of the Bakery Bears. Really like that toe. And this fits me so much better. And as you can see, there's no... Oh, sorry, I just had an attack of the sneezes. I would have cut that out. But I was saying, as you can see, there's no kind of bagginess, or everything's really nicely neat, and this fits my foot really well. There we go, a little close up of the heel there. So I'm now going to rip this one back and make it to match this one. I'm not worried about matching stripes or anything like that. These are going to be sisters but not twins, as they say, and I shall very much enjoy wearing them because the yarn is lovely, and yeah, I like a nice heavier weight pair of socks sometimes, especially if I'm out in my boots for a walk on the heath or something like that. Probably wouldn't wear them all day at work because I think my feet would get too hot being indoors, but when I'm outdoors walking or even in wellies, they are perfect, or even around the house. But I don't tend to wear socks around the house. I tend to wear, well, not even slippers actually, but I've got these little indoor clog things. You don't need to know that. That's excess information. So that is my tale of two socks. So hopefully next time I speak to you, this will be an actual matching pair of socks. Right, moving on officially to works in progress. I am so pleased that this is a work in progress. These are my dad Cornwall socks. If you've been here for a little while, you'll know what that means. I was knitting on a pair of socks at Easter in 2018, and I was in Cornwall when I was knitting on them. They were the project I took away on holiday. My dad was supposed to be there with us. He couldn't because he became much more unwell. At the time he was battling brain cancer, and it was that week that he really deteriorated, and after that holiday it was a very stressful, upsetting time, and I couldn't knit on these socks. I put them all away. I frogged them, I wound the yarn up, and I haven't really been able to return to them since. But I didn't want to get rid of the yarn or abandon them totally, because there was a little bit of the memory of that time, sad as it was. I didn't want to disregard that memory or that time in my life, so I did want to return to it. And it was all living, and always has been, in this wonderful bag. This was a gift, I think, on birthday from my mother-in-law, Dan's mum. Lovely Lobster bag from, well, I can't remember who it's from. It sounds posh, I remember. Oh, Thornback and Peel. Sounds like Dickensian lawyer firm, doesn't it? Thornback and Peel. My gorgeous Lobster bag. I also have on here a little pin that my sister sent me the other day. She said, I saw this and thought of you. She knows I love Alice in Wonderland, and we also have a family celebration every year that we've made up that has flamingos as its main decoration. It's a long story. And I have knit an entire sock I just cast it on and thought, I am going to make these socks. My mojo was there, everything aligned. Cast it on and I just knit the first sock. And here it is. So the yarn, I think, is from Down Sheepy Lane. I haven't seen in a while, so I don't know if they're still drying. Sun, Sea and Shale. It was a lovely gift from my friend Sarah. And this is just a standard vanilla sock. I've written it all down. Again, I've forgotten the cast on. God, I've been really bad at writing stuff down, but I'm pretty sure that it's a German twisted cast on. 56 stitches, 1 by 1 twisted rib, which I seem to be favouring. I've forgotten to write down the amount of rounds, so I'll have to count that. And then again, I just did the leg as long as I felt like I wanted it. I don't like my socks particularly long in the leg. And then I did a contrast heel flap and gusset heel, just a standard one, gusset decreases and down to the umbrella toe, which I really, really love. The reason I love it so much is it's lovely and round, and it ends on only about 8 stitches, which you then graft together. So you get a really lovely rounded toe, but you also graft the end together. So you're not just pulling yarn through, which I always feel doesn't feel very secure. So that is my first Dad Cornwall sock, and I could not be happier with it. I am really, really pleased. The only thing I would have been better is if this stripe here could have just been one solid thing rather than each side of the heel, but I don't care. And again, the next one that I cast on, it'll be a sister rather than a twin, unless, you know, the universe aligns and they end up as twins accidentally. So that is my work in progress, and I'm so pleased that I have those on the go. I'm going to my stepmum's later this afternoon with the girls for a couple of nights. My dad has a memorial bench in his village, and we will go up and sit on it to say hello to him, probably take him either some black coffee or red wine. So I might take this with me and cast on the second sock on my dad's bench. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, actually I'm going to chuck this over there into the pile of stuff that I've got packed ready for the car. Actually, I've got a couple more things that I need to say about those socks and all the socks. The Dad Cornwall socks, I'm using 2mm needles. I normally knit my socks on 2.25mm needles, but my most favourite pair of socks of all time, I knit years ago. They're watermelon socks, and I knit them on Magic Loop 2mm needles, and they fit my feet really, really snugly, and I really like my feet to have good negative ease, which is the reason why I knit those on 2mm needles, but they are not fitting my feet super snugly, they're just fitting normally, which is really confusing. So the only things I can think of are, I'm knitting them on 2mm DPNs, not Magic Loop, maybe my gauge is different on DPNs, or my gauge has got even looser, which would be ridiculous because I'm already a loose knitter, or the yarn's been balled up in a project bag quite tightly for what, 4.5 years, and maybe that's having an effect on how the yarn behaves. I'm not sure. But I also wanted to mention the cast on thing, because obviously I mentioned a few times that I'd use the Estonian cast on and the German twisted cast on, and last time I spoke about how I'd used Jenny's surprisingly stretchy cast on but found it to be too stretchy, and I asked for tips and ideas for your favourite cast-ons, and as usual you came through brilliantly and I had a really, really good response. So I just wanted to say thank you for all of your fabulous suggestions. This was in episode 96. So loads of you said you love the German twisted cast-on, which is also I think known as the old Norwegian cast-on, which I do tend to do quite a lot, but I do now tend more towards the Estonian cast on, just because, like I said, it's pretty and it's fun to do. Adele mentioned that she uses the German twisted cast on for socks, but if she's using it in something like a cowl where you have to cast on and cast off in the same project, she casts off using the Icelandic cast off, as they go really well together. Emma Beanbox Knitting says she uses the Norwegian cast on, so for that I think we can read German twisted, for cuff down socks, or the tubular cast on for toe up socks, which is a really good point because I haven't knit toe up socks in a long time, and it hadn't occurred to me there was options for the cast ons for toe up socks. So Maybe I need to be doing some toe-up socks. I might do some of those this year because I haven't done that in a while. Leslie Combs said she uses My Grandma's Cast On by Anne Hansen at Knit Spot. That's not one that I've been to look at yet, but I certainly will because I've not heard of that. A few of you suggested going down a needle size or two for Jenny's surprisingly stretchy cast on, and a few others suggested doing something like a normal cast on, like a long tail cast on, over 2 needles. So you get you still get the stretchy cast on, but it's not too tight because you've cast on over a wider circumference. I think that's right. So I thought they were all brilliant suggestions. Thank you for that. You also had some brilliant suggestions about the problems I have been having with Lilia's dress, and you have solved it. So unfortunately I don't have it fully solved, but I will show you what I've done so far. The problem I had after a year in the making, and it's nothing to do with the pattern, I've really enjoyed the pattern and it's not been problematic to make at all. It's been fun actually. Oh dear, I'm all tangled up. So here it is. I've shown this a million times before. I've put it on and everything. So it's a lovely, lovely dress. It can be a top or you can knit it down to make it into a dress. We've decided we need about another inch to be added to the bottom, which is fine. That won't take me long at all. But the problem I had once I got all the straps on and the eyelets and we put it on her, the back bit here, which sits at the back, was just way, way, way too wide. And it's just like sunk right down, so you could like see her bum. So loads of you suggested elastic. I never think of these things. You're amazing. So I had some elastic to hand, but it's like really thin thread type elastic. And I just weaved it in through the stitches. I attached it on one end and weaved it in through the stitches and pulled it. And it works perfectly. We put it on her and it's brilliant. And of course, because it's elastic, it would stretch out. However, because this is really, I don't know much about the workings of elastic, because it's really thin thread-like elastic, it reaches its full stretch too soon for what I need it to do here. So I went out and I bought some different elastic. So I got a 3mm and a 6mm elastic to try the same thing with, and it's so quick and easy to do. So what I'm going to do is finish off the length of it so I can not cast it off, fasten it off so I can stop getting all tangled up in yarn, and then we're going to put it back on her and fiddle about with the elastic until we get that right, and then hopefully by next time I will be able to show you Lilia in her finished dress in time for her 17th birthday, even though this was supposed to be for her 16th birthday. Bless her, she's so patient. But yeah, so thank you to all of you that made the suggestion. You came up with loads of really good suggestions, including a row of slip stitches or single stitches to bring it in a bit. But so many of you suggested the elastic, and I was just like, why didn't I think of that? This is why I need you. My battery's going, so I'm just going to change it. There we go. I think I've got that pretty much back in the same position. When I went to get my battery, I remembered I wanted to show you this. This isn't actually been started yet. This is kind of whip adjacent. So this is some precious, precious yarn, and I am determined to use some of my precious yarn stash this year. So I've got it all ready in this bag. I made this bag as one of my tutorials, which I have on this channel for sewing bags. By the way, the dodgy bag mow is back this year. I will bring you news of that in the next episode or two, but it is back this year. And I've got tutorials on this channel for bag making, and this is the result of one of them. And I've got on here my little space penguin pin. I love this. It was a gorgeous gift. I wonder if I've got I quite often keep the pin backs to show. Oh, I don't, but I'll put the details underneath. But the pin is by Deli's Designs, and she has a really lovely YouTube channel here talking about her crafty business and everything. But in here, I've got a yarn that I have had since, oh my goodness, does it say on it? No. At least 5 years, I think. It was a gift from Purple Rain, It's called Destroy the Like Button, which is a reference to a vlog I made on this channel when I first started making vlogs so long ago, and she dyed this self-striping yarn as a gift for me, and oh, it's all caked up and ready to go. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, I could just go home and knit it, it's all ready. And then it's just kind of lived so I can look at it. It was just so lovely of her that she'd done something so personal and such a wonderful gift and had taken the time to do this. And she'd also dyed me and a load of other people a matching self-striping yarn for the, I think it was Fibre East we were at the time. And she dyed everyone a colourway for that particular show. And she's not a yarn dyer by trade, she just did it because she's lovely. And look, that was the thing that was in it to say what the name of the yarn was. So it's got the name of it and the yarn information, and then this little person wearing a little sweater. Just gorgeous. So I am going to knit this year, and I am going to try some new needles. So I have ordered and received some Knit Pro Nova Cubics. So I've heard quite a few people talking about these. They're kind of not round, they're kind of square. They've got angles on them. So I ordered some in 2mm and 2.5mm DPNs, which is my preferred method of knitting socks. And I'm going to give these a go. I wanted to get both because they're lovely and sharp looking actually as well. I hope I'm not going to do my finger any damage because I do push the needle. So I'm really looking forward to trying these out and seeing what I make of them. So I'm going to pop these in here and I'll see how I get on. I'll probably start with 2.25mm because that's what I tend to use. More works in progress, but not knitting or crochet, but cross stitch, because as you know, I am fast becoming obsessed with this new craft. So first of all, I have started and have been thoroughly enjoying my David Attenborough cross stitch. This was a gift from Dan for Christmas. It is from Hoops and Crosses, who is lovely Lucy, and here's what I've done so far. Right, so I haven't got so I mentioned last time that the kit doesn't come, it didn't come with an actual picture of the finished cross stitch. And Lucy, bless her, actually got in touch with me in the comments and on Instagram and said that she's actually planning on adding that to the kits in future. And in the meantime, I've done a screenshot of the finished one that's shown on her website, but it is based on this and pretty much the same as this illustration by, oh, what's the name of the illustrator? So the illustration is done by Geeky Little Monkey, who is Gary Ralphs. There's his details. And Lucy has transformed it brilliantly into, and this is Lucy's card, just so you know where she is as well, Hoops and Crosses, and she has transformed that illustration into a cross stitch. And we all love David Attenborough, don't we? So this is the illustration. It's just brilliant. I have to find somewhere good to put this up. I liked that I got that as part of it. And then I've got obviously all the charts and the threads and everything. And what I've decided to do, because this is a full coverage cross stitch, which I've never done before because I'm so new to this. So there's kind of the outline, which is in black, and then you have all the coloured sections. So I sort of started to do the outline because it seemed like a good place to start. And then I just kind of kept going with it. So I'm kind of doing the pen drawing, and then I thought I'll come back and colour it in. And it's brilliant. I'm just so enjoying seeing how it's kind of appearing in the hoop like that. And it's going to fill the whole hoop. So I will finish all the black, I think, and then do the colour. And I like it because you have to kind of concentrate and make sure you're in the right place and you've got the right amount of stitches between rows, you know, to make sure you're staying on track for where you're supposed to be. And it's kind of really meditative. I'm really loving it. So that's my work in progress, my first cross stitch work in progress. I've also, I need to get better at how I store cross stitch. Just all living in random bags at the moment. This one's perfect. It was made for me by Angela. There's her label that was in it. and it's perfect for a cross stitch because it's got this little magnetic thing here, and then you've got room here to keep like either threads or your charts, but you've also got room in here for your charts. It keeps everything kind of flat, and I've got my actual cross stitch in here, and then I've got all of my threads in this front bit. And because it's fabric as well, I can just kind of like put my needles through the fabric. Oh look, there's one there. Oh, where did it go? There, like that. And I can even have like a needle minder magnetised to it as well. So this is working really well. I might see if I can get another one like this to keep my other cross stitch project in. So I've also started this one that was a gift from Leslie, and it's a chicken one. And this is how it looks. It's from Cotton and Twine. I'm looking everywhere and it's right on the front. And this is it. So it's got 2 chickens and a flower and the writing and everything like that. And I've done the first chicken. It's so adorable. And it looks just like our Peggy Sue. So now I'm thinking what I want to do is change it and make the other chicken look like Cloud, and then maybe do a 3rd chicken down here with the colouring of Hey Hey, so that I've got 3 chickens. So then I was like, oh no, I don't even know what I'm doing, and already I'm starting to adjust it. So watch this space, whether I do that or not. And then I've got another one that I want to start in here as well. So cross stitch has really captured my heart. I'm really, really enjoying it. Oh, and I should say as well that Hoops and Crosses, Lucy, if you go to her website, she's got a free pattern at the moment. It's a lovely full coverage hoop that says trust in the middle, and you just sign up and it gets emailed to you. So I have done that. Yeah, I thought I'd mention that. I'll put the link to it underneath. So I have one more work in progress, and it kind of leads me nicely on to talking about Skillshare, who are back and very kindly sponsoring this video. And the reason I'm going to show this as part of this, because it's a skill that I learned on Skillshare. In fact, cross stitch is a skill that I've learned on on Skillshare, so it's all working perfectly to lead me into this. So Skillshare are an online learning community with thousands of creative classes, from photography and drawing to videography, self-care, gardening, cooking. You've seen me do classes on cross stitch, needlepoint, videography, doodling, drawing, cartography, plant art, and all manner of things over the past year. And I'm really excited to learn, to see what I learn more of in 2023, and I'm you know, to keep going and learn more creative skills. When I first joined Skillshare, my goal really was learn as many new creative skills as possible, really immerse myself in it, and I do get really stuck into it, and really I go down several rabbit holes a week searching for things to do and learn and adding them to my lists and everything. But they've now really started to push their creative career focused classes, which I actually find really interesting, particularly the time management, planning and confidence aspect of that. I don't have a regular 9 to 5, 5 days a week job. As you know, I work 2 days a week in a museum, which has a very strong, well, it is mental health focus. It's a medical museum. And the rest of the time, the rest of the week, and let's face it, most of the weekends as well, is dedicated to the work that I do on my 2 YouTube channels and my Etsy shop. So my working week is immersed in knitting, crochet, creative things, editing, parceling up orders prettily for my Etsy shop. It's not a traditional 9 to 5, 5 days a week working life that I have. I can't quite believe that. I can't believe that I am where I am. And I'm hoping to use the career focused classes to really sort of find my own creative voice and sort of let go of the imposter syndrome, because quite honestly, I have so much fun doing what I do, being surrounded by the creative stuff and this community that I'm part of in the knitting and crochet world and the vlogging world. I'm just having so much fun that I am just waiting for someone to walk in the door or knock on the door one day and tell me to stop mucking about, go and get a real job and grow up. And that's imposter syndrome, isn't it? You just feel like you don't belong here, you don't deserve to be doing this, someone's going to find you out. So I've started the Confidence for Creatives class with Eugenia Washington. It's 5 exercises to grow your confidence and self-care. Eugenia is a model and an entrepreneur, and her energy is amazing. It's a totally different class to anything I've learned on Skillshare before, and it's kind of properly exciting to be doing it. So who knows what I'll have to share with you next time. And if you're maybe looking to make creativity part of your working life, whether it's a complete career change or maybe something on the side, or maybe you've already got an existing creative business that you want to grow, or maybe you're retired and you just fancy doing something creative on the side to make use of some skills that you have, then you can use my link below and go and have a little look at all the classes that are there. I've got a link, it will give you, well, the first 1,000 people to use the link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. There, I managed to say a sentence. I'll put the link in the description box underneath, and I'll put it in a pinned comment as well. And all of this is leading me on to show you my next work in progress. So thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And the work in progress I've had so much fun doing. It is my Needlepoint project. Oh, I didn't bring down my initial little needlepoint project I learned doing Skillshare. It doesn't matter because this one's like the next level up from it anyway. So when I went to the knitting and stitching show last year, I bought a kit which from Hannah Bass Needlepoint, and it's the Little Loves Needlepoint kit, and I went for this one here. So I started it, and it is a bit addictive. It's very addictive actually, but I can't work on it in too long bursts because it is quite hard on your hands. Like, it's quite stiff to get things through the canvas. I now know, by the way, that this is called plastic canvas needlepoint. So thank you to the commenter that told me that. Plastic canvas needlepoint, this is called. So here is my progress. Oh my goodness, it's so fun. I was really apprehensive. I didn't know like the right place to begin, and in the end I just did a bit of counting and I worked it out. And here we are. So I've done my first 3 letters, and I'm working through my stripes, and it's so satisfying to see how it builds up. I make a lot of mistakes and it's really easy to undo them and go back if not quite frustrating. And now I've got my orange all ready to go for the E, and I'm really loving how it's looking. And actually on her stand she had them in these frames, which I think she said you can get in IKEA. So we're going to IKEA this week, it's half term. So we're going to IKEA because we need to get a bedside table for Phoebe's room. So I might have a look to see if they've got those frames. So that is my final work in progress. No, it's not. I lied. It's all works in progress today. I got 2 more. Well, actually, one of them I'm just going to flash at you to say, oh, this is terrible. This is why I shouldn't knit for other people. I'm knitting a hat for my friend who has cancer, is going through chemo, and has been since November. And I still haven't finished it. I'm actually going to rip this back because I'm feeling it's too thin. The yarn is gorgeous. I chose it for its extreme softness. This is from Yarns You Like, and it's soy cotton yarn. And I've got 3 balls of this now because I picked up some more from her at Waltham Abbey. And I'm actually going to rip this back, and I think I'm going to either hold it double to make a much thicker hat, or lots of you have suggested the Musselburgh hat, which is knit, I think, as a long tube, and then you turn it sort of in on itself so you get a double layer. I quite like the idea of doing that. So yeah, I just wanted to give you an update, hold myself accountable for that one. That's all living in my lovely Charleston bag by Sarah Jo Makes. Love that. And then finally I wanted to give you an update on my Litmus Cowl. Words escaped me then. And this is a free pattern by Jude at Stranded Dye Works. And it's all living in this lovely bag, which is by, oh, it's got lovely bears on the inside as well. Like that lining. Every time I open up this bag, I'm like, oh, bears. Where's the label? Oh, here we go. It's by Anne, handcrafted by Anne Hayward. There we go. And I have a badge on here somewhere for my friend Becky at Back to Blighty. official yarn squisher. So I put a stitch marker in it last time I spoke to you so that we could track how far I've got since the last podcast. So where is that marker? There it is. So I've done basically 2 sections of grey and 2 colour sections. So here's how it's looking. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? I'm really pleased with that. So let's move the marker up now, and then we can see how much progress I've made by the next time. There, done. I've put that on the right side, haven't I? Yes, I have. Okay, marker moved up. Let's see how far I get. See if I can beat that last one and do maybe double. So 4 grey, 4 colours, maybe. I think I'm just about finished. I did want to show you a bit of a blast from the past. I'm not sure if I've shown you this before, but I was having a bit of a clear out and I found it, and I thought it might be funny to show you. Before I learned to knit properly, and when I first, just before I started podcasting, is when I started to sort of learn to knit socks and so on. I could knit. I just forgot that I could. I'd worked my way through the Stitch and Bitch handbook. Is that what it was called? Is that what it was called? I'll have a look and I'll put a picture of the book that I'm talking. I'm sure you know the book well. I'd worked my way through this some years ago, not completely through it, but I taught myself some basics from that book. And I had some cheap acrylic yarn from Hobbycraft, and I had knit myself a kind of panel that I didn't know what to do with. Oh, I don't know if it's going to show up. So all I'd done was do a stocking stitch with pearls to make a heart, which I'm not sure if that's coming out on the screen or not, but trust me, there's a little pearl heart here. And then I wasn't sure what to do with it. So what I did was I kind of knit a sort of garter panel, which I then sewed together. And then I must have, oh, and I think I then picked up stitches at the bottom. I have no idea what I did or how I had the skill to do it. And did that and grafted it together at the bottom, or just sewed it together at the bottom. I then lined it. And I was so much younger then, so I think this just shows the confidence of youth. I lined it, and then I used the yarn to wrap around and attach some handles to make myself a little bag. So that's my blast from the past, or project from Yore, which I haven't done in a while, but I was clearing out a wardrobe and I found it and I was like, oh my goodness, I'd forgotten I'd made that. And it made me think of how a lot of what I make these days, I make from patterns. They're other people's ideas and thoughts and fantastic talent that I take and choose the yarn, also created by other people. And I kind of miss these days of just going, oh, I've knit something. What will I do? Oh, I'll just bung in a panel. Oh, I'll just sew it together. Oh, I'll bung in a lining. Or make it a bag. That kind of creative freedom somehow along the way has kind of left me. I think that comes back to what I was talking about, is that confidence, isn't it? Creative confidence and finding your own creative voice. So I think maybe that's something I need to be thinking about or being aware of more in this coming year. Because yeah, look, I know it's not like the perfect thing, it's not aesthetically pleasing, but I made it, and I made it up. And I didn't really know what I was doing. So I think I just need to let go of perfection and worrying so much, and just maybe try to apply my own creativity a bit more. All sounded quite deep and philosophical, didn't it? So I want to move on now to a few other bits, and finally all the bits that don't fit in anywhere else. First of all, we've booked a holiday. We have booked our holiday and we are going to Inverness. Normally we go to Aberdeenshire because that's where my family are. That's where my family are from, mainly that area. My mum now lives down here, and I've lived here my whole life. I was the first in my entire family on both sides to be born in England, outside of Scotland. And I've been doing a bit of family research recently, actually, so it's been really interesting. I've gone back quite a few generations now and found that on my mum's side, they were crofters, which is, and weavers and woolen mill workers. So that's really, really interesting to learn about. But anyway, we're not going to Aberdeenshire, we're going to Inverness-shire, not far from Loch Ness. So we will be visiting Loch Ness, and we're actually going to be staying on an estate which has private access to a loch. It's called Loch Lochy, which does sound a bit like Lochy McLochface or something, doesn't it? But we've got private access to that loch, and we've got paddle boards. So we are going to be taking our paddle boards and basically spending the week looking for loch monsters on our paddle boards. And I really hope we don't find any. So I thought I'd just mention that. If you know any good yarn shops or places to visit in the Inverness area, do let me know. I also wanted to mention prizes and posts. So all of the winners for the Strictly Sock-Along prizes have all got in touch, and all of your prizes have either been sent or parcelled up, and I've been in touch with all of you, I think, to let you know that I cannot post international mail. It's so annoying, and same with Etsy. They are now accepting large letters, so I got really excited about that because all of my orders are large letters, and when I got to the post office they said, oh no, we can't post them internationally if they've got customs stickers. So basically, if you're selling goods, they need customs stickers, and if they've got customs stickers, you can't send them. So I've now got a big bag over there of Strictly prizes that are going internationally and orders, and I've been in contact with everybody, and I have to say everyone has been so incredibly patient and understanding. So I just want to say thank you. If you're international prize winner or customer, thank you for being so patient. I also wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody lately for your very, very kind super thanks and Ko-fi donations. It means the world to me that you support the podcast on my channels in that way, and thank you. This is the most exciting bit. I really hope you like this. I have a box here. A completely plastic-free box. It is a cardboard box. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. Look, there's a bit of plastic tape on that. But otherwise plastic-free. The packaging and the contents. Oh, I'm gonna have to, I keep getting cramp in my foot because I'm sitting on it. So I spoke last year about how I no longer feel comfortable with bringing in more plastic stock to my shop. So I sell little badges. I'll get them so you can see. So I sell little badges. I've got lots of these left, by the way, but once they're gone, they are gone. I'm not ordering any more. This is Phoebe's design. So actually all profits made from the sale of these will go to Phoebe. Have happy adventures. I also sell enamel pin versions of these, but these are the little simple badges. They're great to sell because they're quite low cost. They make good gifts. They look good on your project bag or your school bag, or just to send as a little gift to someone off on their adventures. And I also sold my Strictly Socks badges as well, and they have now all completely gone because I didn't want to sell more plastic. I didn't want to put more plastic into the environment. So I've been doing some research, and I wanted to get some plastic-free badges. And I have managed to find them, but at the moment I can only find them in a bigger size, which worried me to begin with. I was like, oh no, they're too big. And then slowly I started to think, I really love them big. I really, really do. So let me grab some out. I have got 4 designs of these. So the Strictly Socks badges are back. And I've got a plastic-free version of the one I just showed you, the Have Happy Adventures, and I've got an additional design as well. What I need to do is put these on a project bag to show you, don't I? Stop overcomplicating things, just show them the badges. Okay, so here is the plastic-free version of the one I just showed. So as you can see, it looks exactly the same, it's just bigger. There we go. So bigger, smaller, plastic, not plastic. Now I know it looks plastic, but it's actually completely plant-based. It is biodegradable. so you can actually compost it. You just have to take the metal pin out. And also you've got two options for fixing there. So you've got the metal pin, or you've got this flap. So you could take the pin off if you wanted and just have the little flap if you're giving it to a child, I suppose. But yeah, it's completely biodegradable, but it is bigger. Like that. So I've got this design, and the two Strictly Socks badges are back, but they're bigger. So not only are they back and they're better for the environment and they're compostable, but everyone will definitely know that you're working on your Strictly Socks because they won't be able to miss it. I've got the black and the white versions. And then the new design, it's not a new design at all because you will recognise it instantly, is my, of course, you are a little drop of wonderful design. This is the design that goes out on my pins and my postcards, and now you can buy it as a biodegradable badge if you so wish. Oh, I love my little droplet, my little drop of wonderful. So I've got those four all ready to go, and by the time you watch this video they will all be up in the shop. I am really excited about these. Okay, I've just done something, so like I say, I'm really excited about these, and I hope that you are too. I did put them on the bag. I had to, didn't I? Look at them. They're so cool. I love how big they are. I think, you know, this is the future of pin badges. They should be big and biodegradable. Big and biodegradable is best. So those are my 4 badges. They are all available now in the shop, and I'll put a link to them underneath. Oh, I love them. That's it. I'm done. I'm finished. I can't believe how long it's taken me to talk about not very much. Have a lovely, lovely time until I see you next. And don't forget, you'll always find new videos from me every week over on This Little Wonderful Life. Otherwise, I will see you in the next podcast, or the next Christmas jumper video, or the next yarn show visit. Until then, happy knitting, happy crocheting, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.